morning students. Today we are going to study about the diversity in the living world. First of all, we should know what is life. Or what is the basic phenomena that is included in the life. There are a lot of differences between living organisms and non-living organisms. How can we differentiate between a living organism or a non-living organism? Right? So today we are going to study about the differences, the basic differences. Life includes the living systems that is living organisms are those which are self-organizing and self-replicating. Right. First of all, how can we differentiate the basic differences between the living organism and non-living organism? First of all, let us know what living organisms undergo. They undergo growth, reproduction, metabolism, and they respond to stimuli. Right. First one, coming to the growth. What is meant by growth? Growth involves increase in cell number and increase in mass. What is increase in cell number? For example, the life starts with a single cell. The cell divides into a number of cells. Cells divide to form tissues. Tissues further divide to form organs, then into organ systems, and then into a complete organism. Right? So, increase in cell number. For example, if a big rock is there, if it is broken into number of pieces, obviously that is also increasing in number. But we can't say that the rock or the hill is a living organism. That means it is considered as a non-living organism. But then it is also increasing in number. So we can't consider growth as a distinguishing feature between a living organism and a non-living organism. That means growth has to occur from inside. That means increase in cell number or increase in mass from within the organism. That is exactly the growth for the living organism. So increase in cell number happens within the organism, then only we can consider it as a distinguishing feature. So increase in cell number or increase in cell mass is characterized under the growth for living organism only when it happens within itself. Okay. Next, coming to reproduction. So what is meant by reproduction? So when the ability of a living organism to reproduce or to give birth to the younger ones or the progeny, that is what is called as reproduction. Right? So the different organisms reproduce in different manners, like for example, budding, fragmentation, asexual spores, etc. Right? These are all the means of asexual kind of reproduction where two mating organisms are not involved. Only a single organism divides to increase the number of progeny. Right? But whereas what is meant by sexual reproduction? It involves the two forms, a male strain and a female strain. or a male organism and a female organism that undergoes reproduction to give rise to progeny. Now coming to reproduction, we cannot consider reproduction also a distinguishing feature between living organism and non-living organism. Why? Because in living organisms also, for example, the mules, the non-fertile couples, these are the ones which cannot reproduce. So we cannot exactly consider reproduction also the basic difference between a living organism and a non-living organism. Right? Next, considering the metabolism. What is meant by metabolism? It is the sum total of chemical reactions taking place within an organism. Right? So the body is made up of different types of features. Right? It includes chemical reactions giving rise to different physical and physiological, chemical and biological processes. So it involves a series of chemical reactions, and metabolism is of two types: catabolism, anabolism. Catabolism is the breakdown of molecules, whereas anabolism is the construction. Right? So because of these, because of either catabolism or anabolism, there will be some end products, and either the energy is consumed or the energy is broken down, and finally a series of reactions takes place within the body. So these kind of reactions do not take place in inanimate organisms or inanimate objects. So metabolism is considered as a distinguishing feature between the living organisms and non-living organisms. That means this can happen only when there is a structural organization. What is meant by structural organization? That means it has to have a cell, it has to have a tissue or an organ systems, and only then it can undergo some physiological functions, and it involves a series of reactions undergoing. So it is a feature, characteristic feature of the living organisms. Right? So next one is response to stimuli. Right? What is meant by response to stimuli? That means when the organisms respond to the external stimuli. For example, the sunflower. When the light is focused, when the sunlight is focused, automatically the flower turns towards the sunlight. Right? So that is what is known as response to stimuli. Or when someone focuses some light in our eyes, we respond to it. That means this happens because there are sense organs in our body, the 5 different types of sense organs: the eyes, ears, skin, nose and tongue. Okay, so they respond to the external factor, the stimuli, and we show the response. So stimuli is the external factor that is shown on the body, and the kind of response we show towards it is the response. So that is what is known as response to stimuli. And same with the different kinds of plants. For example, the touch me not plant. When it is being touched, it tries to shrivel the leaves. Right? So this is what is known as response to stimuli. So this is again the difference between the living organism and non-living organism, because non-living things do not show any response to stimuli. So overall, what we can conclude? So the life includes the living systems, that is the living organisms, those which are self-organized. When can we consider them as self-organized? Only when they have a structural organization. when they have a structural organization, then they can undergo a series of chemical reactions, that what is known as metabolism, right? And then they are self-replicating. What is meant by self-replicating? That means when they can replicate on their own, that means they increase in cell number or cell mass from within, right? And then when they are self-conscious. What is meant by self-conscious? That means we are having some consciousness to respond to the external factors. So we can conclude that living organisms, they self-organize, they self-replicate, and they have self-consciousness. So these are the basic differences which differentiate a living organism from a non-living organism, right? So now we get a clear idea about what is life, right? And then the different life processes that which a living organism undergoes, right? Right? So next we are going to study about the different branches of zoology which help to make the study in an easy way, right? First, morphology. Anatomy. Cytology. Genetics. Physiology. Paleontology. Zoogeography. Genetics. Evolution, etc. Right? First and the basic one, the morphology. What is meant by morphos? Means form, shape, size of an organism. In Greek terms, in scientific terms, logy means study. So, the study of a form, shape and size of a living organism is considered as morphology. And this morphology is divided into two types. External morphology, internal morphology. Right? Under external morphology, we study the external shape, form and size of an organism which can be easily observed on the outlook. Whereas the internal morphology is the one which has to be like the internal parts of an organism. Right? Next one. What is meant by anatomy? Ana is up, tomy is cutting. Right? So in anatomy, we need to cut open or slit open the organism to observe what is there inside. Right? So once we open the organism, what are the basic things that we observe there? We observe the organ systems basically. Right? So that is what the study is known as anatomy, which includes even the histology. Histos means tissues. Logy is study. So the study of tissues is known as histology. Next, what is meant by cytology? Cytos means cell. Logy is study. So the study of the cell and cell structures is known as cytology. The study of cell and the different cell organelles that are involved is cytology, and the different kinds of cells, as you had already studied, there are two different types of cells, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. What are meant by prokaryotes? Pro is first. Karyon is the nucleus. So the primitive organisms are included under the prokaryotes. And then the eukaryotes. U is true, karyon is the nucleus. So here we see an incipient nucleus, whereas here the true nucleus, which is bounded by a nuclear membrane and which have well demarcated cell organelles like the Golgi complex, the mitochondria and all. etc. Right? So the study of the cell and cell structure, the cell organelles and all, it is known as cytology. Then coming to the genetics, the most important part. So what is meant by a gene? The structural part that is undergoing the reproduction, that is what is called as the genetics. That means the genes multiply to give rise to the new progeny. Right? So what is meant by a gene, or what we study under the genetics? The DNA, the RNA, the molecules and all those which come under that, we study under the genetics. Next one, physiology. Physios is functioning. Right? So there are different functions that occur inside our body. What are the different functions? The digestion, the reproduction, the digestion, reproduction, circulation, the functioning of the brain, the functioning of the kidney. These all come under the physiology. Right? Next one, paleontology. Paleontology, it's about the fossils. So the study of the fossils is known as paleontology, and with the help of the fossils we can date back to the evolution or to which genera or era or BC or AD a particular organism belongs to. That means we study the different geological time scales in order to study the organism when it belongs to which era it belongs to. So that is what is called as paleontology. And in studying the fossils, we use the different the clues like the pug marks, the prints, the nails, the hooves, the hair and all, the different ones. Right? Next one, zoography. What is meant by zoography? That means the distribution of animals in different parts of the world. It is known as zoography. That means some animals are characteristic of to only one particular area. That is what is meant by zoography. For example, the kangaroos are restricted only to Australia. Right? Like that, some animals are only restricted to those areas. That distribution, it is called as zoography. Right? Then next, I've already written genetics. Right? Next one, evolution. What is meant by evolution? That means how the living organisms have evolved right from the basic single cell to the to present today's genera. What all different sequential changes that had occurred, the different mutations that have occurred, those all we study under the evolution. That means how the life had evolved. The life was not like what we are experiencing it today. It had evolved through different sequential generations, and that is what we are today. So these are the different branches of zoology which makes our life easier and to study in a better way.